Every guy standing on a tractor lot has an opinion about this fight, and most of them never checked if it is true. American tractors versus Japanese tractors. Which one really lasts when you use it hard, season after season? Most people judge this by the badge on the hood. Green and yellow means American muscle. A different name means imported precision. Stick with me, because where these machines are actually built will change how you shop for your next tractor. If you have ever bought one thinking the badge on the hood told you the whole story, what is actually under it is going to surprise you. And if you want more of these real breakdowns, hit subscribe now. Let us start with the brand. Most people think they already understand. Kubota gets treated like the outsider on every dealer lot in America. People assume that if it says Kubota, the whole machine crossed an ocean to get here. That is only half true, and the wrong half matters. Kubota has been building equipment on American soil since 1988 out of Gainesville, Georgia. That plant builds the subcompact tractors, the utility vehicles, and the zero-turn mowers you see at farm stores. A second Kubota plant in Jefferson, Georgia, builds loaders and backhoes, along with other implements that attach to Kubota tractors. About half of everything Kubota sells in this country never leaves the state of Georgia. The engines still come from Kubota's own plants in Japan, so a Kubota on your local lot is really a Japanese engine inside an American-built body, and most buyers never think to ask about that. Walk the aisles at any dealership and you will see the same story repeated on machine after machine. Now look at the name people treat as the safe, all-American choice. John Deere carries more history and trust than almost any brand in this business, and that trust gets used to sell the idea of pure American engineering top to bottom. The real records tell a different story. Deere's own parts documents list Yanmar, a Japanese company, as the actual maker of engines used in older tractor codes like the 750, the 850, the 950, and the 1050. That is not a rumor, that is Deere's own paperwork. Today's compact tractor lineup still leans on the same partner. Deere's own product pages confirm that current compact models still run Yanmar diesel engines, and the newer 2R and 3R series compacts got a new Yanmar engine to meet the latest emissions rules. Deere builds a lot of chassis here in the States, but not all of them. Several of Deere's mid-size tractors are put together in Mexico, and the smaller 5E series comes from a Deere plant near Pune, India. Deere also builds compact utility tractor chassis at its Augusta, Georgia plant, but the engine inside still comes from Yanmar. So the badge that sells itself as pure American engineering actually runs on Georgia assembly, Mexican assembly, Indian assembly, and Japanese engines, depending on which model is sitting in front of you. Knowing that before you sign the paperwork changes how you shop, not whether you buy green. Here is the real twist once you look past the marketing. Under 100 horsepower, there is no compact tractor sold in this country built entirely on American soil from engine to frame. Every major brand leans on a Japanese company somewhere in the process. Kubota builds its own engines, but puts together plenty of chassis here. Deere leans on Yanmar for engines while building chassis in Georgia, Mexico, and India. Shibara and Iseki quietly power whole tractor lines sold under names most buyers think are fully American. None of this is a scandal. It is just smart business. Letting one company focus only on engines usually builds a better engine than trying to do everything yourself. The real mistake is thinking the badge alone tells you who actually built the machine. Massey Ferguson is the best example of this game, and they play it with 3 different partners at once. Their GC 1700 subcompact line is built entirely by Iseki, a Japanese company most American buyers have never heard of. Iseki reportedly builds Massey's bigger 4600 utility series as well. Iseki used to sell tractors under the Boland's name in this country years ago, but today there is no real way to walk into a dealer and buy an Iseki directly. Massey is basically the only door most Americans have into that company's engineering. Move up to the 1700E and 1700M lines, and the engine supplier switches to Shibora, the same company that spent decades building compact engines for Ford, and later New Holland and Case 1H. Some older premium Massey models are said to have used Mitsubishi engines instead. 3 different suppliers under one badge is not an accident. A GCO makes that choice the same way any company picks a supplier: cost, availability, and reliability, not which builder makes the better tractor. That kind of flexibility keeps a GCO competitive without forcing every plant to build every part it sells. The lesson here is simple. Check the engine code stamped on the machine, not the color of the paint. Deere deserves a closer look because the gap between badge and builder runs deepest here. Deere's own parts manuals confirm Yanmar as the real source on several older model codes, and comparing the shared platforms shows real differences. Owners and parts dealers who work on both machines often note small build differences between the Deere and Yanmar versions. Things like weight and trim details, even though the core engineering is nearly identical. Replacement parts for the Deere version are commonly reported to cost more than the same part through a Yanmar supplier. That extra cost is not paying for a better engine. It is paying for the badge and the dealer network behind it. So, which one really lasts? And does the badge tell you anything useful at all? The honest answer is in the engineering, not the flag on the box. Kubota builds its tractor engines liquid-cooled across the whole lineup, which keeps temperatures steady whether you are working through southern clay in July or northern mud in April. Yanmar's broader engine catalog has historically included both air-cooled and liquid-cooled designs, with air-cooled versions generally aimed at industrial and generator use rather than tractor work. Emissions rules are where the two approaches really show themselves, and it does not split neatly by horsepower or by flag. Compact tractor makers meet the same emissions tiers in different ways, with some models relying on after-treatment systems like diesel particulate filters, and others meeting the same targets through engine design alone. Same badge, same emissions target. 2 completely different paths to get there in plenty of cases. No brand solved emissions the same way twice, and no amount of made in America or Japanese precision marketing changes which path a given model actually took. Longevity comes down to the same story. Owners, running both Kubota and Yanmar diesels, report long service lives with routine care, no matter whose badge is on the hood. The real answer to which one lasts longer has almost nothing to do with the country printed on the sticker. It comes down to whether the engine block was designed by Kubota or by Yanmar, and both of those answers are Japanese. Here is what you should actually take away from this. The badge on the hood was never the real story. Long life comes from the engine block, not the paint job, and in this class of tractor that block is almost always Japanese engineered, whether Kubota built it themselves or Yanmar built it for someone else's badge. A Kubota on a lot in Texas might share more with a Yanmar than most buyers realize. A John Deere on a lot in Ohio might run the exact same engine family as a tractor wearing a totally different name. Massey Ferguson is really 3 brands hiding inside one paint job, depending on which model you are standing next to, and that alone should change how you kick the tires. None of that means the American badges make bad tractors. It just means the question you clicked on was never really American versus Japanese to begin with, and it never was as simple as picking a color. From now on, walk onto any lot and ask who actually built the engine and where, instead of trusting the color of the hood to answer the one question that actually matters. That single question tells you more than any brochure or salesman ever will. So pick your side honestly, even knowing the 2 sides were never really fighting each other under the hood. Team Green, Team Orange, or are you still running your grandfather's tractor because it never gave you a reason to replace it? Tell us which one in the comments, and tell us how many hours are on it too, because that honest number means a lot more than any brand name on the hood ever will.